Hello. Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Hi, Ewan.
Hi, Cassandra. How are you?
Oh my goodness, I'm excellent. How are you today?
I am doing fantastically well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Living
Of
living
course.
my living my leadership dream.
Yay. I love that.
Yes.
Everyone, yes, welcome to Sparks Squared Speakeasy, the leadership conversation you weren't meant to overhear. No slides, no scripts, and no corporate nonsense. No, no. This is Smart Pub Chat meets leadership therapy, where Ewan and I talk about what leadership actually looks like when things get uncomfortable, messy, or real. My name is Cassandra Sparks, and I am joined by the incredible Ewan from the Bright Spark Group. Hey!
Woo!
Folks, pull up a chair, grab a drink of choice, and let's get into it. All right, the speakeasy doors are officially open.
Welcome everyone. Happy Friday. It is Friday. Oh,
Yay!
thank goodness. Let's talk a little bit about our
Mm-hmm.
challenge from last week, shall we, Cassandra Sparks?
Yes, please, sir. What did we do
Last
last week?
week, the leadership challenge was what's one small thing you can do to shift your leadership presence? Because we spoke all about leadership presence last week.
Yes, we
So
did.
not a performance, not a personality overhaul, just one intentional adjustment on how you show up and speak to hold yourself. So,
Mm-hmm.
Cassandra, what did you get up to last week to fulfill your Friday Courage challenge?
Last week, I showed up super authentically. I was a guest on a podcast, and the subject was about why small business sucks. Specifically, why being a motivational speaker, which is what I do, sucks. And to come with the level of vulnerability and authenticity that I showed up with took tremendous courage. And it felt really, really good to just be like, yeah, it is not all puppies and rainbows, right? As a motivational speaker, I think there's an expectation that I'm always positive and that everything is great. Nope. So to bring that level of authenticity was refreshing, and to have a space where I could share that freely was a gift.
I love that. I'm really excited about listening to that podcast later on. It is up there at the very top of my playlist, so I'm looking forward to it. It will be my afternoon listening over a cup of
Oh,
tea.
great. Thank you. It's only
Yes,
10 minutes, so it's easy. It's a nice, easy,
easy.
digestible.
Well, I heard the little I heard like the little teaser trail from Joe that popped up on my LinkedIn. I think you might have reshared it, and
Yeah.
I'm very excited. It sounds like great fun. So definitely in there. I will follow and subscribe, as they
Oh,
say. And I
thank
encourage
you.
everybody else that's watching this to do the same with ours too. Brilliant. Okay, I love that. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your courage challenge. My courage challenge this week was linked to what we're going to talk about today. Actually,
Great.
was um, showing up with presence as a leader, but also as a business owner, and showing up with someone who knows what they're wanting to achieve, but is maybe going about it not in the way that will actually get them the results they're looking for. So I felt like I had to really bring out my leadership presence and as an expert share some kind of hard truths and some moments where
Mhm.
maybe it was a little tough for them to hear it, but in the end,
Mhm.
it's going to help them to achieve their goals. And whether that's with us or not, that's by the by. But as a business owner, I think that's
Mm.
one of the things that I find really tough is sometimes helping clients get to where they need to get to as the expert in a way that helps them feel supported and encouraged and drives them to a deliverable or a product or a solution that's actually going to get them the results they need. And that's not always done through easy truths. Sometimes it's done through hard truths. And yeah, that was my moment
Mhm.
of kind of leadership presence of how I showed my leadership presence this week. So I was kind of grateful for our Friday Courage Challenge because it really helped me to kind of reframe how I went into that conversation. So that is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about credibility and how we show up as leaders and show that credibility. So what even is credibility, Cassandra Sparks? What is credibility to you? Share that with our fabulous audience.
Well, what do you think people think that they mean when they say credibility? Is it titles? Is it having all the money? Is it having, X number of years in business?
Right.
What is it? Is it
I think it's
the LinkedIn bio that's like doing the most?
well that whole culture really got me. I remember when I first started out running my own business, my own learning agency, and being
Mm-hmm.
really almost like overwhelmed by the credibility that these people on LinkedIn or on other social media platforms are available, by the way. But LinkedIn is where I spend most of my life. They position themselves in this way that shows this level of credibility through how they sell themselves, how they sell their years of experience, or how they sell their skills or their professional capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I always find it fascinating when you kind of drill into that, like that authenticity is such a huge part of that. Like credibility is
Mm-hmm.
so easily forgotten or so easily diminished when authenticity doesn't sit at its core, right? And when there isn't
Mm-hmm.
a sense of like genuine, true credibility that's sitting underneath there.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Well said. I think when I think about credibility, it does not equate to just being an impressive person. That's
Hmm.
great. What I think lends to credibility is when people can demonstrate that they can be liked and trusted.
Right.
And because folks love to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So you may or may not know someone personally that you're doing business with, but if they can get a sense of liking you and trusting you based on, let's say, what you're putting out in the world on social media or how you
Mhm.
present yourself, let's say at a conference, then that's credibility right there.
Right. And I definitely think that whilst being able to kind of blow our own trumpet is a huge part of credibility, and you've got to sell yourself in business and as
Certainly.
a leader, even if you're not in business, even if you don't run your own business like we do, like as a leader in an operation like a hotel or a manufacturing company, you do have to find the ability to be able to demonstrate your credibility to the people around you to build that trust. And that does, like you
Mm-hmm.
say, come over time. People learn how deep that credibility goes and
Mm-hmm.
how authentic that credibility is over
Mm-hmm.
time. I think that the thing that everybody forgets though is that people decide whether they want to trust that credibility or whether they have question marks around that credibility very quickly, very,
Yes.
very fast. So yeah, what do you think about that? Like, how do you, as a business owner and as a motivational speaker and a boldness coach, how do you build that trust with people immediately so that you get the opportunity to show them that you are credible and that you do have that credibility and they can trust you over that time? What's your kind
Mm-hmm.
of tips around that?
I think well, first of all, very astute observation. We say that credibility is trust over time, and then people can make a really quick decision about if you're trustworthy.
Right.
So, in my experience, the more authentically and repeatedly I show up as myself, the better my credibility is. And that allows people to see me. Because if
Right.
I'm talking to a group or a business about how to step into your power and what kind of challenges come with that, what kind of, strategies they can use, and I don't present myself as someone who's had to learn those things and practice those things, then why would they listen to me at all?
Right.
Right?
Can I share a story or share an experience with you that I think kind of lends to that point?
Always.
Thanks, I love that. Okay, so I remember when I first made the transition from the fabulous cruise line industry into training
Mm-hmm.
luxury service in some of the most exquisite luxury properties around the world, of which I had never worked for a large insert luxury hotel brand name here company. I had only worked in the luxury cruise line industry. I'd worked in the luxury casino market, private members clubs, but I'd never worked in a luxury hotel. I had worked in a hotel many, many, many moons ago. I was front office, I had the opportunity to spend some time in housekeeping. At one point, I think I was in the accounts department, but I think it was for about 3 hours, and they kicked me out and realized I couldn't add anything together. But I remember moving into that training space of training the most prestigious luxury properties around the world, and having this real sense of imposter syndrome, but being acutely aware that I was going in with a title, and I was going in with an employer that meant I had to show up with credibility. And it was a couple of months into that experience until I realized that it wasn't about saying the right thing. It wasn't about knowing every single luxury standard verbatim, inside out and back to front, and being able to recite it off in an impressive way at exactly the right moment. It was actually about showing to the people that matter the most, the frontline team that were actually delivering those standards every day, that they don't need to know that either. They just have to be confident in their job and confident in the foundations of that role. Like, why is it that you're there? If you're a housekeeper, you're there to make sure that the room is clean and to make sure that you take every opportunity to personalize that space for the guests while they're in there. And it took me a while, a couple of months, maybe not as long as others, but it took me a couple of months to realize that I didn't need to go in and recite off verbatim standards to a team of housekeepers. I had to go in and start making beds with them. I had to go back to my roots of working in housekeeping, and if they saw me within the first couple of minutes of that session, of that 90 minutes we had together in a suite, on my hands and knees on the floor, checking under the bed with them, and making the bed, and cleaning up a bathroom, which I could do. I'd done it. I'd been in housekeeping. That was where my credibility stemmed from. It stemmed from the fact that those people in front of me immediately and intrinsically trusted me because they could see that I really knew what I was doing. It wasn't just a facade. It wasn't hidden behind words. It was true, genuine passion and love for what I was doing. And that was where I gained that trust. And I think that a lot of leaders almost forget that that's where credibility stems from. Your ability to feel like a solid, trustworthy, passionate force within their life, their career, their professionalism, their profession. So yeah, I think that that's always a thing that I go back to whenever I'm kind of forced into a position as now a business owner, to try and sound smart, where I realized I don't need to sound smart. I don't need to have the right number. I don't need to have the right stat or piece of data off the top of my head. I just have to have my experience behind me and my true raw understanding of exactly what it is that's going to help them to succeed, whatever their particular challenge is. That makes sense. Did I waffle a little there?
No, that makes total sense. What I heard you say is credibility isn't about sounding smart. It's about feeling solid in what you know and what you bring to the table. You know what it's time for, I think? I think it's time for a catchphrase.
Go for it. Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready for this. Okay, I was born ready for this. Ready?
Ewan, can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah. I don't know. I do it, and I still get little tingles, and I don't know if those tingles are because it's a really good catchphrase, Cassandra, or if it's because I feel it's so cringeworthy that I think we lost half of our audience. The grand total of 2 people who may be watching this right now is now down to 1. So thank you so much to that one person that is still with us, is clinging on post catchphrase. Thank you so much for sticking with it.
We love you.
Thank you. Yeah, we love you. We do, really do. Don't know who you are, but we love you. You're great. Thanks for sticking with us.
Amazing.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit then about credibility in the other sense. So when does it start to leak? Like we've spoken a little bit there about how we build it up, and trust is a big part of that. But when does it start? When does credibility start to erode and kind of break down?
I think it starts when that imposter syndrome takes over. Right. People tend to over-explain to prove their worth. Yeah. When imposter syndrome sneaks in, and that over-explaining on its surface seems like it will help, but it actually erodes credibility because it makes the other person maybe question, is this person being authentic? Is this real for them? And I believe that when folks can own uncertainty, versus hiding it, that makes them so much more relatable because, while we are smart, dynamic professionals, I don't know everything. Do you?
Right. Definitely not. And I find that out on a more than daily basis.
That's right. That's right. Ditto. Which is the beautiful part. Yeah, go ahead.
No, don't you? It was good. Yeah, the beautiful part of being a business owner is that I learn every day that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing 99.9% of the time. But that 0.1% is important. I'll tell you that.
It's true.
I do think that what a lot of leaders fall into the trap of doing is that because they know credibility is so important and it's so valuable to their success as a leader and their team's success, that they almost hide the moments where they aren't clear or they're uncertain. Those moments kind of get suppressed or they push them away instead of facing into them and owning it. And I think that that's, for me, one of those moments where I think a lot of leaders could stand to take a step back and go, well, how would I have benefited and how would my team have benefited from me owning that uncertainty and not hiding it from it or shying away from it or even just kind of diverting attention from it? If I had said, do you know what, I really don't know the answers to that, or do you know, I'm doing this and I'm actually just realizing that this is a really silly way of doing this, like, why don't we think about doing this differently? What would work for you? Or like, do you know those moments? And I certainly am having those moments as a new business owner with a fabulous team around me now, where we think, I, as a leader, think, well, I've got loads of experience building e-learning modules, and I think that my process is definitely the best way to do it. But I have this wonderful team who are now having to immerse themselves in my way of doing things, and I am every second of the day going, that is so why have I been doing it that way for so long? When I watch someone else do the same job, I'm like, you're a genius. Where have you been all my life? Like, my life would have been made so much more efficient had you showed me that a year ago. Like, so I definitely think that there's credibility to be found in those moments where you say, I just don't know the answer, do you, to somebody in your team. And I think that more leaders would be best served if they did that instead of shying away from it, because that is where we've all been there. I mean, I've had leaders in my past where as soon as they're out the room, me and my colleagues are like, he has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. Like, has they ever done our job before? Like, what are they talking about? So I was that member of the team. Definitely. I always had a cup of tea with my pinky up going, So yeah, I think that a lot of leaders would be best served by maybe not hiding their uncertainty all of the time.
That's right. It sounds like some of those folks are maybe performing confidence.
Right.
Versus practicing clarity and asking for the opinion of the team or asking for input. Because as we've discussed in previous episodes, a leader shines when they can lean on their team and allow the team to do the things that, make them so wonderful, because everyone has their own strengths. So when you can have a team that says person A brings this, person B brings that, and let them shine like supernovas, that's where magic happens.
Yes, absolutely. Not be the kind of the desire to have the center of attention all the time on you as the leader, feeling like to build credibility, you have to be the loudest voice in the room, right? I do think that volume piece is definitely another piece of credibility. Like, we've all been in a room or a training session where there's that one person who's always got their hand up, always calling the answer out before anybody else gets the chance, or that leader who's always the first one to speak in every meeting with that next best idea, which always turns out to be an absolute flop. But I do think that there is a certain thing about volume, right? That people think confidence and credibility comes from volume, but confidence just is not always about being the loudest voice in the room, right? I think that it's sometimes about just being brave enough to be the person that just shares your voice. I think credibility comes from just being confident enough to share your voice, whether it's right or wrong or uncertain or certain. Share it, and that will build your credibility as a leader.
I love that. That's really powerful. So clarity is credible. When folks ramble or shout or try to overpower, that's when things can get suspicious.
Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think so. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a rambler. as you all know, I will waffle to my heart goes till the cows come home. I am the king of waffling. But I do think that there's a place for it, and I think that rambling does sometimes unearth a sense of uncertainty, or certainly a lack of clarity and a lack of credibility.
Mm-hmm. So you and we just talked about kind of what credibility doesn't look like or what makes it fall flat. Let's flip that now. What can folks do to help build their credibility quickly?
Yeah, I think that there's let's talk. So of things that we can say, right? Things that you can say as a leader that helps to do that, helps to build your credibility fast. So one of my favorite ones that I like to use is, I do not know the answer to that yet.
Oh,
And that usually allows for the room to kind of open up and for people to share what they know, right? And it also gives that moment of like, I want to know the answer. I'm not saying I don't know, and I'm going to go away and I'm going to find out and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you, but I don't know the answer yet. Allows people to kind of have that space to be able to share what they think the answer might be.
oh, Ewan, that's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Genius.
It shows humanity. It shows collaboration. It shows that credibility is shining. Oh, chef's kiss.
Love that.
One of my favorite things that a leader can do to up their credibility is say, I messed that up. I made a mistake.
Right.
I make so many mistakes just as a human being walking through this world. And when I can own those mistakes, that's when I can like step into myself as a human person, as a professional person, and all the other areas of my life. So for me, my trust-o-meter instantly goes up when I see someone own their mess and clean up their mess.
Mm-hmm. I think it's catchphrase time. It's catchphrase time. Can I hear it? Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
I instigate that one, so we lost that last watcher, viewer, listener, subscribe, whatever you call it on social media. I have no idea. Gone. It's just us now. You can say anything.
Awesome. We can. I love it. I love it.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I really do agree.
Handle our amazing catchphrase. I don't know what to tell you because it is very much us.
It is extremely us. I love that. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right. Well, last week we talked about presence because credibility shows up before you speak. So how do how do presence and credibility show up together as a group?
Yes. For me, it's so kind of closely related to communication. And there's two parts to communication, as we know. There's verbal communication and nonverbal communication. And actually, we think that as leaders, we have to always say the right thing. So that's verbal. But the nonverbal part of communication is where the credibility really lives. Because it's in how we enter the room. If we enter the room like this, with our head down or our head in our phone, and we're not, we're not putting off any kind of confident energy, or we look like we don't want to be there, our credibility just went down. So what could be an example of something that someone could do to counteract that?
So I think that just being conscious that you're always being judged is a really good rule for life, right? There are certain things that I allow to be kind of a non-negotiable when it comes to how I show up and present myself now that I'm employed by myself and that I'm running my own team, versus perhaps when I was employed by somebody else. But I think that just having those non-negotiables are important because they help you to kind of guide the people that you want to see you as credible. So I think definitely being conscious of your appearance, of how you present yourself, of how you hold yourself, I think is really important. But then also,
absolutely.
But then also like making sure that you're just always aware that I suppose this kind of follows on from what I was just saying there. That like this, always being aware that your body is ultimately answering that credibility question for people before you even open your mouth, before your mouth even says a thing. That people are very quickly making that judgment, and you are already if you're already aware of that fact when you walk into a room or you start an interaction or engage with somebody, then you're almost going to start to build the credibility tank or fill the credibility tank for them.
I agree. A couple other pro tips from a communication nerd is
Please.
delivering strong eye contact to the folks in the room is key for your credibility. Yeah. And we talked a little bit before about the need to kind of over talk as a faux form of credibility.
Yeah.
FAUX, faux form of credibility. Whereas listening, like stopping to talk, listening to what the people in the room have to say and what's important to them, that builds credibility. And then when you are talking, to do it at a pace that's not rushed.
Right.
To really take your time. Now, we don't want to go to the other end of the spectrum, calling out like Ferris Bueller, the teacher in that movie where he's like, Bueller, and he speaks like a snail's pace. But we really do want to be aware of the timing in which we speak and the pacing of it. Because if we're speaking at 1 million miles a minute, we may be excited. That might be the truth of what we're feeling. The way it's being interpreted, however, is not helpful to our credibility.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Energy and matching the message, mirror and match as well is a really important thing. Like know your audience, right?
Yes.
Love that. Fantastic. We are coming towards the end of our Friday extravaganza. The speakeasy doors are about to close. Are you ready for it? I don't think I am ready for it. This was a lovely chat.
This was a lovely chat. Every chat's lovely. This was great. Aww. Are you ready for our Friday challenge?
I am so ready. I'm most born ready, and I'm really excited about this one. I'm really enjoying trying to do it through the week. So it's great. It's giving me some focus.
It is. Here is our Friday leadership challenge. Do one thing that brings your words and your actions into alignment. Ooh. That's it. So what could that look like? Let's just spitball here.
Do it.
You could admit that something needs more time and then name when that can be done to hold yourself accountable.
Love that.
What else you got?
I'm thinking for bringing our words and actions back into alignment. How about we could say no to something instead of just giving a polite but fake yes. So not just saying yes because we feel we have to, but actually say no to something because we can't do it or we just don't want to do it.
Yes. That's a great idea. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm feeling overwhelmed, can put something off.
Agreed.
Procrastination, perhaps.
I am feeling that today.
So choosing to follow through on something that I've been putting off is a way that my words and my actions and my behaviors can kind of come into alignment and can boost my credibility.
Love that. And that is such an important point, right? Because credibility isn't really about just saying more. It's built on actually following through on actions. Walk the talk. If you are going to ask somebody to meet an expectation or deliver on a standard, then be sure to go and follow up, inspect what you expect, but also walk the talk. Do it yourself. Be showing what good looks like in your actions every day. So I love that.
Absolutely. Because credibility isn't about just saying more. It's built by doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I love that. Thank you very much for sharing.
Absolutely.
Good.
So folks, as you do think about your leadership challenge, we're not asking you to do it with fanfare. You don't have to post, announce it. It's just quiet, courageous cleanup because trust compounds.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if this conversation sparked something for you, share it with someone who needs a seat at this table. We will see you back here next Friday. Same Sparks, same Speakeasy.
Thank you. Did you like that? It could be our next. It could be our next catchphrase, our visual catchphrase,
our nonverbal catchphrase.
Right, exactly. Stay sparky, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye.